All righty, everyone, we're going to start our class now. Anybody have a Quran? Every week I ask this. Oh, wonderful. That's what happens to women, you know, when they switch purses. They leave something valuable in the other purse. Got no money. Not that I need it, but we got no money. Where? Where? Oh. Well, while we're looking into our mic, I'm going to, by reading chapter 25 of the Holy Quran, Divinely Prepared by Prophet Noble Jew Ali. It's entitled The Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. If you are in agreement with it after I finish reading, affirm by saying Islam. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother has given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers and sisters, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth to love and unity. And prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him out. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole nation, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. All right, it's long. Last week we were going to talk about a case that I just happened to find online looking for something else, but we weren't quite prepared for that, meaning I didn't print the copies for you guys to read along. So I don't think, I would rather everyone have a copy so that you can, like, take it home and analyze it, you know. But so what I'm gonna do is the next, we meet back here, well, etymology will be here next Wednesday, Abdullah, and then we'll have, oh my gosh, this is Karu, the first Wednesday, she'll be here, I think she'll be here doing health. I have to confirm that with Roz. And then we're back here the second and the third Wednesday. So when we come back the second Wednesday of February, we'll go over that. All right? Is that good? I had something that I really wanted to talk about, so hoping that I can recall what it is. So many things are happening in the world, and so much is going on in terms of our comprehension of law and history. How many people feel like a whole new world is opened up since you found this word called the Moors, or the Moorish information? You know, what's interesting to me is I found this word, the Moor, and Moorish, but when I went back, I just happened to go back and look into some of my books that I had read, and there was this word, the Moors, the Moorish nation, that I had read about and knew about, and but it didn't really connect until I got this piece of information, which, you know, maybe how many people are readers here? You might want to go back and look in some of your books that you've read, because you may have read about these people called the Moors that you are lineal descendants of. You might want to go, because I did, not on purpose. I actually pulled out a book, you know, when you don't have anything to read, you just want something that you know is going to feed your mind, but not overfeed it. So I pulled out one of my old books to read, and on the cover was Moorish. And I was like, look at this. You never know what you've been reading, what was right in front of your face all along. I love to talk about people's comprehension of who is who and what is what, and exactly who is attacking you and how that relates in terms of the American Constitution 1791. Because we have been so misinformed. I won't say miseducated because really we've never really been educated. So I'll say we've been so misinformed to the point where we're realizing now if you've gone to any of these so-called colleges and invested a lot of finance, you realize that you probably flushed a lot of finance down the toilet and really got nothing in return, really. So here we are doing our own independent studying, our own independent researching. I'm trusting everyone is doing their own independent researching. It's not necessarily what we present here because we can't never give you everything so that you can comprehend but what I know I can do is I can give you some keys that will help you connect the dots like I connect the dots, and I'm always looking for more information every day. As a matter of fact, I was over there trying to pull together the Dred Scott decision. How many people heard of the Dred Scott decision? How many people know what it really is all about? I mean, read the case. Had the one-page submitted document that Dred Scott submitted, and I know I have it on my computer somewhere, and I was trying to find it last night because the conversation last night centered around this modern European who was giving his opinion on what the Dred Scott case did. And it was so absolutely convoluted, incorrect, unconstitutional that I just had to play the 10 minutes of his little dissertation so that people can listen to their own analysis and based on law and the Constitution and how it even came into being, make your own analysis and correct that misinformation because you, the government, the people, is the power. So I couldn't find it on my computer, so I went Googling it thinking, piece of cake, it's one case, I should be able to find it, and ended up in the congressional record. And found the entire conversation regarding the Dred Scott case, which happens to be like 50 pages almost. So there's no way own copy of that, I don't think. But what I think I will be doing is I'm thinking that maybe I'll pull pieces of it out and we'll do a class and we'll all read this Dred Scott case. Because we need to know. The only thing that I know about the Dred Scott case, really, is that you had this Asiatic being who somehow either was told he was a slave or because, you have to understand that on this land, the melanated people, the copper-tone people were not the original slaves. How many people know that? Copper-tone people of this land is not the original slave. The original slave is modern Europeans. And they're now coming out and saying that. You can go on Amazon. I didn't find this. Abdullah the etymologist, he came to the class and he gave us a couple of books. And I actually went on Amazon and I ordered 2 of them And I'm trying to see if I can find the name of the book, one of them that I ordered, because in that book it is literally telling you that the original slaves are modern Europeans, and that it is the untold story of European slaves in America. That's something like the title of the book. And when I saw that, I said, "Oh, I gotta order that." So, of course, I immediately ordered it, and I think I might have deleted it. But anyway, that if you can find it on Amazon, because that's where I ordered it. There's some other books on Amazon that also talk about the original slaves of America, and I put another one in my to order bin, because let me see if I can find it, because I want to give you some of the, because once you go on Amazon and you look up two books, actually one book, here it is, They Were White and They Were Slaves, The Untold History of the Enslavement of Whites in Early America. That's one of the books. So if you go up on Amazon and you Google that book, and then you go below, there's other books with the same type of subject matter. And that's how I found that book. It's called, hold on a minute, They Were White and They Were Slaves, The Untold History of the Enslavement of Whites in Early America. And the author is Michael Hoffman. And let me see if I go down. Oh, here's the other one that, this is the one that I ordered. It's entitled White Cargo, The Forgotten History of Britain's White Slaves in America. And I think one of the Wednesdays that I was here, I read the table of contents of that book. And what was really interesting is the last chapter of that book, it talked about how, I was just trying to see if I can, they used to have it so that you can look in the book on Amazon, but I guess maybe that book isn't part of that or whatever. But the last chapter in that book, White Cargo, it talks about how they were brought over here, and the intent was for them, they thought they were coming over here to be free. And it said, but Britain had another plan for them over here. So what becomes really, oh, thank you, really informative, thank you, is that when you start to know, or when you learn that you were not the original slave, and in fact the word black, colored, and Negro never applied to you, you go back and start rereading things. Everything is now different, right? But that was my impression, or that's what I got. Everything was different, everything, because the word black means you're ineligible to inherit. Did you know that? I never really got caught up in this word black because I'm not black. This is black. I'm not that. I don't know any. Do you know anyone as black as this? I know people who are so heavily melanated they have like a blue glow, but that's still not black, right? So I never got caught up in this word black, but now I've learned that black is not a people. Colored is not a people. Negro is not describing us. Negro is part of what modern Europeans were originally called. Negro, they had two names, the troglodyte Negro chimpanzee. How many people know what the word troglodyte means? Anybody ever took Latin? I took Latin. I like to buy language books and teach myself various different languages. And so I was doing an exercise in the Latin book, and I had to translate this word troglodyte. This was before I even came into this information. And I'm looking in the lesson into the third chapter, and I had to translate something, and the word was troglodyte. And I was like, what is this word troglodyte? I don't remember seeing this in the 4 lessons that I just went through, so I had to go to the dictionary or the index and find out where in the book it was. And it wasn't in the 4 chapters, but I was supposed to translate it. So I looked it up in the dictionary, and the word troglodyte is a Latin word. It means caveman. So then when you find out that the modern Europeans' original part, well, one of the original names that they were called was the troglodyte Negro chimpanzee, a lot of things make sense, right? Who and what is what to make sense of where we are. I can tell you from the little bit that I have studied, I know how we got here. How many people know how we got here? How many people know how we got here? How? Just blurt it out. No. When I mean how we got here, I mean how did we get to this type of a situation that we find ourselves living in today, where modern Europeans are, they are acting as though they are superior or have some power, superior power over it. Yes? No, because we didn't necessarily take on their religion. The dogma that we put out then kind of turned around on us. Yes, but we got here. If you look at what we were doing back, in our past, all right, you will find that we were fighting each other. That's how we got here. We were fighting each other. Guess what? We're still fighting each other. And because we're fighting each other, modern Europeans get to maintain their position. Because if we were to stop fighting and unite, it would be over by breakfast, just like the prophet said. Literally, like before breakfast. Like we would be sitting down to eat in peace and harmony by the time, because it's just that easy. We have to stop fighting each other because that's how we got here. Some of the things that people are fighting over today is, I'm not Moor, I'm black, or I'm Negro, or I'm African American, or I'm I'm an Israelite, or I'm a Hebrew, I'm an American. Now, all of those words, they could very well be valid, but at the end of the day, we're talking about nationality. We're definitely not talking about land mass, and we're not talking about a religious philosophy, and we're not talking about an indigenous family, such as like Washita, Arawak, Tayano. We're not talking about an individual family, which all those names represent. We're talking about a nation of people. We got many people, but there's one nation. We got many families, but there's one nation. How many people in here? Anybody in here know each other? Y'all have the same last name? Do you have the same last name? No. No, I mean family surname, what they call the family surname. Your brother? All right. So your brother, But do you know that that surname does not mean you're not brothers with him or those two in front of you? So one of the things that we don't get, but my Europeans get this very well. It don't matter what the surname is. They're all family. We, on the other hand, trick out because we're like, oh, you're not from my family. You didn't come out of my mother's womb. But there's only one womb that everybody came out of. And everything trickles down from that one womb. So are we related? Yep. Right? So we have to kill that. Then the other thing that they have us participating in, which is absolutely ridiculous, and I do not have a marker. Do we have a marker? Do we have a? Because I want to write this down. Do we have? Because I want people to pay attention to this. I want you to really think about this. And I want you to go home and do some research. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying that it would be absolutely beneficial to you. Right. Thanks, guys. For one, and as soon as you put it in my hand, I realized I got some in my computer bag. But that's all right. All right. I want people to pay attention to this. This is from last week. Now, how many people know where they are right now? Blurt it out while I clean off this board. How many people know where they are right now? What? All right. That's good. Woo. That's good. How many people from Barbados? Anybody? Really? Oh. How many people come from Jamaica? How many people come from Trinidad? Anyone? How many from Puerto Rico? Really? How many from Cuba? How about Mexico? How about Great Neon? Anybody? How about Germany? Japan? No one. How about California? Yeah. California. How about Texas? South Carolina. Anybody? No? All right. Florida. New York. Really? You come from New York? You come from Africa? Oh, let's put Africa up here. Africa. You come from Africa? You sure? Oh, you come from Africa. You born where? New York. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. That's true. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. So this is kind of really, I want this to be visible because a lot of people, they say, I come from Africa and I want to go back to Africa. But really, what is Africa? What is Africa? What is New York, Florida? Say it again. They're corporations. They're all corporations. Every last one of them. That's how they gain jurisdiction over the people. Because these are corporations, right? If these are corporations, like, for example, you said you come from New York, right? Where is New York? Let me give you an analogy that you will understand. Anybody saying they come from any of these places, I haven't named them all because there's a zillion of them. That's like saying I come from Walmart. Now, where's Walmart's headquarters? Anybody know? Where? Anybody know where Walmart? Somebody Google it and tell me. Because we lack so much information, all right? And if we don't turn it around in 100 years, there's going to be a place on American soil called Walmart. And somebody is going to say, I come from Walmart. Because New York was originally established in 1640 as a company. There's a charter. You can Google New York Charter. New York Charter comes from Charles II of Great Britain. New York City was chartered to his brother, the Duke of York. Arizona? All right. Arizona is the headquarters of Walmart. And it's now Walmart is pretty big, right? I'm willing to bet that their headquarters is probably taking up a lot of space. Like up in this area, the United Nations is a corporation, right? Right? And they got a big block called United Nations Plaza, right? Right? Somebody Google it so we can confirm that. They got a whole block. If you send in anything to United Nations, it goes to the United Nations Plaza. But the United Nations is a corporation, right? And probably 50 to 100 years, there's going to be a town called United Nations. And people are going to be like, I come from the United Nations. Just like today, people are saying they come from New York or New York City or Barbados or Jamaica or Trinidad. If you Google any one of these, they will tell you exactly the year they were established as a company and then subsequently incorporated. Now, I just gave you a few, but every single one of these areas on planet Earth that they give these names are all corporations. Every last one of them. So when they ask you, really, where do you come from? Where did you come from? Where? Speak up. Where out of your mother? Exactly. You come out of your mother's womb. That's the only answer you can give. Then they try to, well, where were you born? Wherever my mother was at the time. Because it's not relevant. They want to know is what corporation do you belong to? So that's why they're asking, where were you born? And most people are going to say, I was born in California or South Carolina or Africa or Germany or Great Britain or Puerto Rico or any of these places. All of them are corporations. All of them. So now, when you do I'm telling you this, but I want you to research it. You don't have to do it right now, but you need to research it because I got the New York Charter. Somebody on your New York Charter. You should find it in the Avalon News what is it, Yale, Avalon Law School, Library, something. It's online. But it will show you the New York charter. Then there is a New York City charter. Some time ago, I believe I passed out to, we gave people, I sent it by email to anybody who wanted that New York City charter. Because when you read that New York City charter, it says in the powers of the corporation that it's a corporation. Please. I thought I brought that with me because I printed just a couple of pages from the charter to read, and I think we read it last Tuesday, and I might have put it somewhere else. And so I can't read it to you. I might have it with me, but I don't want to rifle through my papers and stop, talking. But when Roz gets here, maybe I'll try and do that. So I can read you some of it, what's in there. Every single charter always starts out the same way. But the New York charter is most interesting because we'll know when the American Constitution was ratified. The American Constitution. What, say it again? 1791. 1791. American Constitution was ratified, all right? Now, that means that the original 13 Union states all signed off to agree to the terms of the American Constitution. Now, you've got to know the history. The American Constitution was written because the people that worked for liberty, they had no liberty. They had zero rights. They couldn't say yes or no to nothing unless their employers, guess what their employers were called? Guess what the boss was called? Guess what the boss was called back in the 1600s? Governor. That's right. Today, a governor is a CEO, likened to a CEO. But guess what? So is the mayor. Because the governor and the mayor is these are two different titles of two different companies. All right, but they all, in like the New York City charter, it says the mayor is the chief executive officer. It says it right in the charter. All right? And with governor, you have to go. I was looking at this word governor, and I was saying to myself, what did governor mean back in 1640? So I Googled, what did governor mean back in 1640? And a lot of stuff came up. And it said governor simply means a boss. And guess what? In Great Britain, how many people have watched movies that was made in Great Britain, and you hear them calling their boss a governor? Governor is a boss. That's all a governor is. And over here, we have been excruciatingly misinformed to believe that a governor has authority over the people in some type of government capacity, and the governor is simply the boss of a company/corporation. How about that for misinformation? Now, many of us, we probably think, how many people think that you're being attacked by New York State? It's all right. Raise your hand. Are you really being attacked by the state? Because we don't know exactly who is really attacking you. You said that you're being attacked by the state. Just give me an example of that. One, attack. License. Driver's license? Driver's license. Driver. All right, now, you have this license, right? Now, let me ask you, who is it that compels you to get this license? Are you sure? Who is it that asks you for the license? So we're talking about municipal employees, right? Right? Municipal employees, right? Anybody else? Petition you in what capacity? For what? For what? You got to narrow it down. What situation? Give me one. Traffic tickets. So traffic tickets bring us back to municipal employee, right? Not state employee. Excuse me? Court employee? What court? Oh, no. Where is there a Supreme Court in this area? Where's the Supreme Court that you're talking about? Oh, no, baby. There's no Supreme Court. There's no Supreme Court in the Bronx. What you're dealing with is a Bronx municipal corporation operating in a building called a court. You can go rent space in that same building employees of municipal corporations do. Because now you said politicians. Where are these politicians? Give me just one place. Well, you said it. You said it. So the politician is a municipal employee too, right? Right. So do you see? Okay, let me put it this way. Somebody makes a demand of you on the side of the road, right? That person is called a police, right? Right? All right. Now, the police is a municipal employee. So where do we go from there? They make a demand on the side of the road. Where do you go after that? It's not a court. It's a ministerial venue. Ministerial. Look up to, all right? Ministerial. So now, at the ministerial venue, who's there? Well, actually, it's not even a magistrate. It's a ministerial officer. Okay, now who? The municipal ministerial officer is a municipal employee. Prosecutor. The prosecutor is a municipal, I'm spelling this wrong, employee. Who else is in the building? Honey, a lawyer is a layperson. All right? So, but they call them and they impose them on you. What do they call them? Public defender. A public defender, all right? Now, who does the public defender work for? The municipal, he's a municipal employee, right? Now, these are 4 players, right? Pretty much this is it, right? Right? Now, did you raise your hand? Well, I don't know. Do the employees of Walmart need to take a note to the... Right. No, they don't, right? Because they're a municipal corporation. They're not government. That's what they be looking at us because we go in there. Now, I'm not saying send your paper in asking for the delegation of authority. Delegation of authority as part of the process. But no, you're not going to get it because that's like sending a delegation of authority to Walmart. Do you think you're going to get it? But you send it anyways. Why? Because they make a presumption that they are government, right? So now here's what we need to look at, all right? Municipal employee, municipal employee, municipal employee, municipal employee. In the business world, what would this be called? It's an M word, but it's not management team. Huh? And it's an M word, but it's not management team. Say it again. Monopoly. Monopoly. That's absolutely unconstitutional because if it's a monopoly, then you cannot get fair and impartial hearing. Unconstitutional. Absolutely unconstitutional. And then all along the way, they're making a demand for what? Revenue, which is income. Income. Income must be reported to the Internal Revenue Service. Do you think that's being reported? It's being reported, but it's probably not being reported as going to any of these employees. Because if your liberties are violated by a police and they kidnap you, what is it that they compel you to go and do? No. If they kidnap you, what do they compel you to go and do? No. If they kidnap you in order for you to get out of their clutches, what? Say it again? Bond. You have to get a bond. Now, let's look at this word bond. If you are a government employee, right? By law, you have to have what? A bond. How is it that they got the people under threat, duress, and coercion going and getting a bond as though they are a government employee? When did you become a government employee? When have you received wages for that government employee job? And what is the government employee job? And how come you don't know you're performing it? Fiction, because it's happening to you every day. But it's happening because we have been denied the necessary information to administer the supreme law of the land as you ought to. And this ain't just for Moor. This is for everybody. There are modern Europeans who would have you believe that the American Constitution is only for modern Europeans. Yet, the American Constitution comes from the law of the Great Peace, which we wrote. And guess what? I just want to make this analogy here because we're going to do a class on this for all those people who think that the Constitution has been suspended. How many people ever heard Constitution's been suspended? Come on, raise your hand. The Constitution's been suspended. Do you know the Constitution? You got to know the Constitution to know what has been suspended and how could that happen, right? Well, I just happened to be reading United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and it suspiciously sounds like the American Constitution. That you got unknowledgeable people alleging has been suspended. How could it be suspended when it is an international law? It's international law. Here it is, right here, look. No one shall be subject to torture or cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment. That's the 8th Bill of Rights. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. That's the 4th Bill of Rights. How about this one? One of my favorites. This is what brought my attention to it. I don't even know how my eyes zeroed in on it. Everyone has the right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. Everyone has the right to leave any country, including his own, and return to his country. What is that? What is that? That's right to travel. That's right to travel. Hold on. Then they have, hold on. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom either alone or in community with others and in public, or as his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. What is that? First Bill of Rights. Religious protection. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. What is that? Freedom of speech. Regardless of frontiers. Everyone has the right to own property alone as well as in association with others. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his property. What is that? Right to be protected from search and seizure, which I think is the 4th Bill of Rights. How can the freaking American Constitution be suspended and it is embodied in the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights? How many times have we said that the American Constitution is written based off of universal law? And about the Constitution's been suspended. That is gross lack of study. Gross. So now we can utilize the American Constitution and Universal Declaration on Human Rights, and guess what else? We can utilize the treaty. And I don't have it. Oh, sugar. I printed a whole bunch of stuff that I had screen printed on my phone, and one of them was this case law. And it says treaty law can annihilate any constitution. Treaty law can annihilate any constitution. So, what does that tell you? Nationality is absolutely the order of the day, right? Absolutely the order of the day, because without nationality, it means if you don't have a nationality, in law, what does that mean? Yes, but it's more than that. But it's more than that. See if I can find it. It's more than that. Yes, more than that. Without a nationality, there is no law to protect you, because it is based on nationality that the law that will protect you is based on. Sister Valerie talks about this in her What is Law video. You have a nationality. The question is, do we have a treaty between us? Because if with the municipal corporations, many of them were established by Great Britain. Is there a treaty between Great Britain and Morocco? Yes. Do we know what the provisions are? Treaty law that we, in conjunction with the American Constitution, as well as the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, that we will be able to repel these municipal employees, foreign municipal corporations on American soil. See, it's all in the language. But you can't get the language right if you're not studying. Because, for example, how many people know that if the state is a party, who has original jurisdiction? Well, the Supreme Court. How many of you are ready to go and make an argument in front of 9 Supreme Court justices? How many? How many are ready right now? Because right now, your liberties are being violated. If you're paying an electric bill, a gas bill, buying gas that came out of the land that of your ancestors, if you're paying rent or a mortgage to live on your land in a building that was more than likely built or constructed with the resources from your land, your liberties are being violated right now. Now, I'm not saying go and tackle them all at once, but I am saying that you might want to make a list and then prioritize. And I will never suggest that you tackle the most difficult, which would be claiming land. That is the most difficult. These modern Europeans, they lose their foolish mind when you attempt to claim the land. Now, and there's very easy thing to do. Claiming the land is just a public announcement. And it's not that I'm claiming this land here. What good is that? Like, so this little square piece is your ancestral estate? So you're just going to claim this little piece? The prophet put it on the record and claimed all of what is in chapter 47 of the Holy Quran as the ancestral estate of the Moor. Moroccans born in America, lineal descendants of Moroccans born in America. He didn't just claim, he started doing his civics lessons in New Jersey. You think he just claimed that little piece of area in what is today referred to as New Jersey? But then he moved over to Chicago. Do you think he claimed that little bit of place that they had in what is today called Chicago? You think that's all he claimed? Then I think he was born, is it South Carolina or near North Carolina, South Carolina, one of them, one of the Carolinas, right? So I'm thinking if you're going to claim something, you're going to claim where you was born. But do you really think he would just claim just that little patch of land? Why would you do that when all of North America, South America, Central America, and the islands and all the way up through Canaan land is our ancestral estate? You see, these non-Europeans look at us like we are ridiculous. This is all your estate, but you're going to claim this little patch. And then, to add insult to injury, you claim it, you got all the information. Everybody else in the house knows nothing. They can play the waiting game because they pass information on to their people. So they can wait for you to pass. 3 generations, it don't matter. Because they pass on the instructions of how to come in. Once the announcement has been made that you have passed, they're going to pounce on everybody in that house because they know nothing. So they can play the waiting game. Because we haven't learned that information is not just one individual. It's for everybody. Everybody. And it's foolish. I'm not saying you should end these relationships, but I'm just saying it is foolish to be the mate of somebody who doesn't have your information, want it. That's a liability waiting to happen. I'm not saying end it. I'm just saying you might want to think about it. We might want to go back to doing our yearly courting and do like the prophet said, draw a circle around your passions for your conduct. Look to the future, not to the booty call. I'm trying to find this case law because I printed it. I printed it because it's got all this fabulous case law. I got so much stuff in my phone because I'm always digging and other people are always digging. And so they send it to my email. And no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to print it and make it available. But you can dig too. Look, challenge. I'm not going to challenge you. Everybody in here got information that I don't have or others don't have. Or you have the ability to go and research. What are the chances? What are the chances of everybody in here going home tonight and turning on the computer, Googling the same thing and getting the same information and coming back here on Wednesday and presenting it? What are the chances of that happening? No, it's not. No. Okay, so let's say you decide to go home and you're going to Google the land. The chances that everybody else is going to Google the land and how we got here, come up with the same information, write up a report that says the same thing, and come back here to present it. What is the chances of that happening? So everybody in here has the ability to pick a subject, do some research, come back here and do a presentation. It shouldn't just be one person. It should be everybody. Everybody's liberties are being violated. It shouldn't be on one person. That's why they can't take out our family over there in Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan corporations that they established. They can't take them out. You know why? Because everybody knows the same thing. You take one out, somebody else going to pop up and keep it going. They ain't even got to try to figure out what did they do. They know they can step right in their shoes and keep moving forward. We need to be able to do the same thing. That's what family does. Now, we are in this area where, this area and what they call, I think, Los Angeles, I think is one of the 2 areas on this land where there's massive amounts of people who are taking advantage of. I mean, just gross taking advantage, not just by foreigners, but by our own family. And we have got to stop doing that, because I'm sure that even some of us in here have probably taken advantage of our brothers and sisters on the street. Maybe not intentionally, or maybe intentionally, who knows? But we got to stop doing it, because that when we do that, we're attacking ourselves, really, because universal law says that even though it appears as though there's a group of people, a bunch of people in this room, really there's only one, because we all come from one energy. Only reason we look different right now is because we created this image and we maintain it every single day. But if we were to completely let this image of ourselves that we have been maintaining all of our lives go, we would all disappear and become energy. So you see, we're all just energy. We're energy that has been transformed and manifested into what we look at in the mirror every day. It's just that simple. And that's not just your physical appearance. It's every facet of your life. Every facet of your life you create. And much of it you don't create knowingly. We listen to what they call, it's not Arizona, it's Arkansas. Bentonville, Arkansas is the headquarters of Walmart. But, Arizona, Bentonville, it doesn't matter. It's a corporation within a corporation, right? The corporation within a corporation. Walmart is within the corporation that is today known as Bentonville, and Bentonville is within the corporation known as Arkansas. Corporation within corporation within corporation. Plans within plans within plans. Right? So we have to get our minds correct so that we can think our way out of the situation we find ourselves in. A lot of times what we do is we focus on exactly what we say we don't want, right? We do it. We've been mentally conditioned to do that. How many people have decided they're going to go and apply for a job? And even as you're thinking about you're going to go apply for this job, little voice in your head saying, you probably ain't going to get it. You go to the interview, you're waiting, and you're sitting there, and there's this little voice talking to you in your head. You're probably not going to get it. They're probably going to give it to some white person, right? And then surprise, you don't get the job, and they give it to some white person. Because that's what you said. Why is it a surprise? It shouldn't be a surprise. That's what you're supposed into existence. How many people, I'm so glad you did that. How many people is on the bus, train, in a house, at work, and there's somebody hacking and coughing and sneezing, and you're thinking, oh, my God, I'm going to get a cold. I'm going to get a cold. Look at this. Oh, they touched me, and they didn't even sanitize their hands. Oh, my Jesus, I am going to have a cold by tonight. And wonder, oh, wonders, by tonight you have a cold. Mental conditioning. What did the prophet say he came to free us from? Mental enslavement. I just gave you 2 examples of self-mental enslavement. How many people have done it? How many people have done it? How many people will not go outside in the wintertime after taking a shower until you are completely dry? Because you might catch a cold. That's not even how you catch a cold. And wonders of wonders, if somebody call you and say, you got to come here right now, you're like, I can't go because I just took a shower. I'm not completely dry. You're going to make me catch a cold. But I'm coming. And by that night, you got a cold. But that's not how you catch a cold. Let me tell you how to catch a cold. Flour, pastries, potato chips, some kind of, I'm not judging you, meat. These things create mucus in the body for a good reason, because they are trying to save you from yourself. Because what it does is our bodies are amazing. The body will take some of those foods and coat the gastrointestinal tract from mouth to behind. And good that it does, because it creates this mucus lining from mouth to behind, so that the poisons that you're eating does not shoot into the bloodstream and instantaneously kill you. Brilliant. And we've been mentally conditioned to eat a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, and snack in between, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack in between. Usually they say eat nutritious snacks like carrots and celery sticks. Who eats carrots and celery sticks? Now, you might have a donut, a bag of potato chips, some popcorn, nothing of a raw food nature, because now everybody's allergic to real food. So what the body does is it says, at night it says, oh, thank God there is sleep. We can do the cleaning. And they're cleaning and cleaning. Well, you got so much crap inside you, they need more than 8 hours. But what do? The first thing you do when you get up? You eat something poisonous, or you drink something poisonous, and all cleaning must stop. And what you just ate got to be pushed somewhere else. And then you stop eating, and the body says, oh, thank God I can clean, until you have that midday snack. And then everything stops. And then they have to push it somewhere else. And then you have lunch. Everything stops again. And they push somewhere else. And then they start again. And that's what happens all day until we get to the night. Usually by 3 months, your body has had enough. It's got nowhere else to push this crap, and so it triggers a cleansing. You got mucus coming out your nose, coming out your mouth, coming up from your lungs, probably coming out your ears, definitely coming out your behind, if you were to investigate it. But you can't investigate it now because they got these toilets that flush before you even get up. So you can't even check and see, do I have a cold before the cold really manifests? So the body goes into a cleanse to get rid of some of that mucus. But we're so brilliant, we go and take Alka-Seltzer cold medicine and stop the cleansing. And this is why our lifespan has shortened considerably, because we never give the body a chance to cleanse. And who knows what is living in some people's intestines that's been there for years. We used to cleanse. We used to fast at least once a year, and it was usually in the spring, because we needed the fat that we accumulated in the winter to stay warm. And then in the spring, we got rid of it with fasting. So we did a cleansing as well. So what does all of that have to do with the law? Well, it's part of law. It's part of our history. It's part of what we need to know. Because the last place we as Asiatic people need to be going is these institutions they call hospitals. I can tell you for a fact, because I worked in one of those institutions for 5 years, nothing that they're telling you applies to these carbon-based what they call melanated people, copper tone people. None of that stuff applies to you. None of it. Because those hospitals were never established for you. They were established for modern Europeans. Their research and development team is to keep them alive, not you. So all of their norms is based on their body chemistry, not yours. So if they tell you you have high blood pressure, that's based on their body chemistry. We don't even know what's a relatively normal high blood pressure for our people because nobody's done the research. Nobody. We don't even know what our relatively normal body temperature is because nobody has done the research. We don't know what our blood count should be. We don't know what our blood sugar level should be. We don't know what our triglyceride level should be. We don't know none of that stuff because nobody has done the research. But guess what? All of that is still elementary because we're not really a body. We're not chemicals. We're just energy. We're not chemicals. They're chemicals because they were made in the lab. That's why they can say, oh, you got too much potassium, or you don't have enough magnesium, or you need some vitamin C, or you need some, we don't necessarily need that. But we do need to change our vibrations. So one of the ways that we can change our vibrations so we can get to another place is by changing the foods we eat and taking certain vitamins to help you maintain a place so that you can mentally focus your way somewhere else where you don't need these artificial Band-Aids. But it's all about the mind. How are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your mind? Now, feeding your mind is not just what you're studying. It also includes who you hang around. Because you can do your minimum of 15-minute reading every night just to build yourself up, and in the daytime you hang out with some of the most negative people, and they will cancel all of that what you did last night out and bring you down. Because it's all about energy, it's all about vibration. And if you are vibrating at a high place and you allow a lower vibrating person into your space, they're going to bring you down. They're going to bring you down because they're going to feed off of your energy, and it's going to bring you down. And some of them can't even take your energy, so they might get sick. But in the process, it's going to bring you down. So we have to pay attention to who we're hanging out with. Not just what you're reading and what you're studying or who you're hanging out with. Because this is some serious stuff. These people, all of these corporations, they know how important you all are for their income, revenue generators. They know how important you are, right? They know. There was a movie that I saw. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'm trying to remember it was somebody that were in prison, and they had like a body, an organ or something that a donor needed, and I want to say it might have been a family member. He had life in prison. And he figured that, what's the point? He might as well give his organ, I think, to like his sister who needed it. But the prison warden said, no, we're not going to allow that. So he did something like hung himself and went into a coma, brain dead, wasn't going to ever wake up. The prison warden said, no, we're going to keep him on life support until he dies. Rather than disconnect because he has no purpose. so we thought. They would not allow him to disconnect from life support so that the sister can get the organ because it would interfere with their bottom line. As long as he is alive on some sort of life support machine, they can still, but it shows you to what degree they will go to fund their corporation. So we have to be just as serious about informing ourselves. And you can't handle crybabies in this. There's no crybabies allowed here. Tantrums, no crybabies, that's not allowed here. Because guess what? Everybody has the same challenge. Everybody. Nobody in here is free. We on our way to being free, but we ain't free yet. None of us have enough energy to put our issues aside and take on somebody else when they're perfectly capable of handling their own. They just don't want to do it. Now, I can understand if there was some plausible reason that you can't handle your own, but there never is. Thing that everybody has. Whatever situation anybody has in life, that is the card you were dealt, because within that scenario is the lesson that only you are supposed to learn. And nobody else can come in and do for you what you are supposed to do for yourself. And if somebody does, the universe is going to check you and them because you're interfering. Work on yourself. People need to step up to the plate. And you know what? If you got to cry all the way, and don't be overtaxing other people. And try to be uplifting. Because everybody needs a boost every day. Because we're all overtaxed. All of us. We're all functioning under stress. So try to uplift each other. It doesn't even matter if you don't know this. I've traveled on the subway and I see people, they got these repelling looks on their face. You know, they're angry. Like, don't talk to me. Don't smile at me. Don't try to engage me in conversation. You know, they're all defensive. And the other type of defensive I've seen is everybody is. I don't even know how they know their stock is coming up because they are like this all for the whole ride. It could be a whole hour there like this, never looking up. I'm not a master at taking the subway, clearly, because I got to look up. So I'm the one on the subway looking at everybody because we don't have subways up north. So I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking out the window. What's going on? But everybody else is absent-minded and defensive and ready. They're already ready. If something was to pop off, I'm going to go down because I ain't ready. We don't have subways up north. I'm going down. But the whole point is, smile. It will lighten you. It will. I know sometimes it's not easy, but it will lighten you. Sometimes I wake up and I'm in that mood where I just feel like I want to be angry. I just want to be angry today, you know. Something usually comes along and hurts me, pops me out of that mood. But sometimes you wake up and I just feel like being angry today. I feel like having the scroll face. But you gotta talk yourself out of that. And I think for me, one of the best ways to do that is to study. When you study and you find out these things, don't get angry. And don't beat yourself up because you got this information. You got to this place at the right time. You couldn't have afforded it if you had gotten it earlier. It came to you at the right time. So get excited about it, because you know what? It don't even matter what's going on, really. Because in there, the prophet says, it doesn't matter what it looks like. In the end, it's all going to be in the hands of the Moor. So where you are today and the end game is irrelevant, because you already know the end game. I might not be here when we get to the end game, but it doesn't matter, because I already know what the end game is. So what I have to do is I need to, because a lot of us, we want to get to the end game, because the end game for some of us means I'm going to be in a mansion house, I'm going to be driving a Lamborghini, I'm going to have untold wealth, I'm going to travel 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year, I'm going to have, 7 Saturdays and a Sunday. That's not what it's really supposed to mean, because all of that is an illusion. But what it should mean is I have learned to create my world, and I'm creating peace and harmony and abundance, and I'm at peace. That's really what we're all here to learn. So all of this really is just a stepping stone to get you there. All of this teaches you to discipline yourself. And you can't get to that place where you can manifest your world as you like it until you discipline yourself. Because when you find out some of this information, you naturally get angry. You want to hurt somebody, right? Well, that's where discipline comes in. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I found out is if you fall into this situation right here where you're accosted by a gang of municipal employees, this is what I have experienced. I know all of this stuff. I can write a banging writ. I could sit and write a writ in my head. I know everybody's true position, all right? I can come up with strategy after strategy after strategy. But because we have been so mentally conditioned, we really don't want to write the writ, struggle to write the writ. You know what you want to say. You have the strategy. You know the historical relevance, everything. But because of the mental conditioning, you don't want to write the writ. You want to just lie down. And you have to fight yourself to get up and write the writ. And it's not easy, so I would suggest you buy plenty of sage. Because the sage is going to get rid of that negative energy enough for you to get up and write the writ. You just want to get up to write the writ, because once you start writing the writ, you won't sit down. You won't stop until you have it all out of your system, because once you get to writing that writ, it's like there's a spirit that takes over you, and it won't let you stop until everything has been documented. You just got to get the power and the energy and the strength and the courage to get up to write the writ, and that's really the challenge. Not writing the writ, it's getting up. That is a mental conditioning that I only just discovered for myself. And I have another sister who, I was talking to her, and she said, oh, my God, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I know we're not special, so it's got to be the same for everybody, and I so understand it to be a mental conditioning that has been put on us. And I think part of that is why we would rather go and have somebody else do it for us, because we just want to lie down. But we can't. We can't do that anymore. We have to take responsibility, our lives, and our affairs. And so we're at a time where you can't pass this on to somebody else. You definitely can't hire an attorney, because an attorney is what? A municipal employee. He's not even on your side. So you definitely can't hire an attorney, right? Now, if you do research on the word attorney, right, you will find that an attorney, and I think I might have said this in another class, is squire, right? And you will see them signing off on your documents with this, right? Esquire. An esquire is an English title. English title. This is America. How is it that you're being compelled to hire an esquire, which is of a people called English? English mean hybrid, you know, right? So you're hiring the English people to speak for you, or you're being compelled to. This is America, right? Esquires have no place in America. Constitutionally, they don't have no place in America. They're actually, according to the American Constitution, an esquire is a title of nobility, right? A title of nobility. And if they are receiving any income, all right, that's emolument. If they have a title or they're receiving any income, according to the original 13th Amendment, they can no longer be a citizen of the United States, and they lose all rights. Talk about that on another day. I'm going to give you all a copy of that because it's a part of the Constitution that has been removed. That 13th Amendment that you see, if you Google the 13th Amendment of the United States of America, that is fictitious. It's nowhere in the congressional records as the 13th Amendment at all. And then the other portion of the 13th Amendment that's missing is the 13th Amendment with the 20 sections. You're familiar with that, right? 13th Amendment, the original 13th Amendment with 20 sections. Familiar with that? I believe Roz just put it up on the website. Roz? Is Roz over there? Oh. Roz, did you put up the original 13th Amendment with the 20 sections? All right, so it's on the front page. If you Google RVBeypublications.com right now, you will see the top portion. I knew that too. You will see the top portion of the original 13th Amendment on the front page. What's amazing about the original 13th Amendment, I should already have it on my phone. RVBey Publications with an S. I think I downloaded it. I did download it. Yeah, the 2 pages. Well, no, because it's 9:15. Kim, because I was going to try and look for something that's going to... Oh, no, you're not. Oh, hold up. In a second. Well, oh, goodness. All righty.
All right, that's for other people listening. I know y'all can hear me, right? What I found interesting with the 13th Amendment is that it says in Article 12 of it that if you are descendants of Africans, you cannot be citizens of any of the Union states, or what you know today as the United States of America. That's the Union state, specifically, right? Any state. So now, that's clear cut, right? Right? So for even us, as we used to think we were in fact, you know, from Africa, wanted to go back and all that, I didn't kind of mention that, even though we're here. Even for those who thought that, And who makes them think that they're black, they're Negro, they're colored? You can't be a citizen of any other state. Now you need to say, well, why? What does this mean? All right, since I still think I'm a Negro, colored, black, descendant of a slave, like that, right? Because we were all enslaved. There's a difference between finding people here that are copper-colored, which are us in this room, who are Aboriginal indigenous, and then the fourth stage of their conquest for this portion here was to go to the coast of Africa and actually kidnap people and enslave them or put them in slavery with the help of their own brethren. It was our own family to help do that. So that did happen. Don't get it wrong, but you got to understand the history of how it happened. And the Constitution actually was established to, kill all the noise and all the stuff and everybody who was already here, against those who were the true immigrants, which are these modern Europeans. And here's the crazy part. They're the true, real, absolutely immigrants, and they're telling you they're government. And you just explain why, right? They don't work, right? With the mayor and the government, don't get too mixed. They're confused. And then, of course, lack of education, going to the wrong schools, not knowing what we really needed to know. Not everybody's fault. It don't matter whose fault it is. What matters is that we know what it is, and then we act accordingly, because truth doesn't change. So the words have to be correct, which is what jurisdiction is. Right diction, words. Of course, we use the wrong ones a lot, and we're learning now that it's important to not use the wrong words, because that's where the jurisdiction rests, in you and outside of you. That's why that little codified thing first said was the word and all of that, right? So the 13th Amendment, going back to it, so for even those who think they're, Negro, colored, black, I'm black proud, and I'm an African slave, and look what they did to me, all that. You can't be a citizen of a union state. Let's get political. Oh, I don't know about political about it, because, I was a slave. No. What is political? What is it? Do you even know? Because the moment you declare your nationality, that's what determines your political status. That's determined. It means your allegiance to your family, which is government. Now, I know our family, we bicker because of what we don't know or haven't known, and, we're all messed up because we're fallen and we have lack of knowledge, but that's okay. We're still family. That's the first thing we need to recognize and stop with the division. By use of, usually, as I heard Annie saying earlier, different family, or what many call tribal names. Okay, Washita. Okay, Cherokee. Okay, what's another one? Yamasee. Okay, whatever. They're all family names of the same nation of people. That's all it is. She just shows you when she gives a little test of, even with the gear that you have now, it doesn't have the RVBey for those who don't. If your last name that you know of prior to any information about what a title is, which is the RVBey, was Brown and yours was Johnson and yours was whatever, that's just it. But you still all call yourself black, Negro, colored, right? Something, whatever that is. Or even more. Thing is, we're all one family bearing one free national name, which is the RVBey, because you got to get the national. You have to proclaim your nationality, which determines your political status, which will determine how you will be treated, looked at, received. And so, where you say you live, because she told you where you come from, I'm my mother's Moor. That's where I come from. If you ask the question, that's the answer. That's why it's the fact. That's just the fact. No, and you know what? Nobody that's walking can defy or deny that. That is an indisputable fact. Everybody came from him on this woman if you really want the answer to that question, right? So now, when they say to you where you live, let's go back to the 13th Amendment. If you are claiming to be descendants of Africans, and I'm just saying it that way, that much, you can't live in a state. But there's a reason more for that. Because the states are quasi-national, well, because the states were formed for modern European immigrants, not you. But does that mean that this is their land? Does it? No, it's just making a place for everybody to stop all the actually all the fighting and war didn't really get like that until the modern European came along, you know, eating raw meat and doing things because remember where they came from, all right? I don't want to offend anybody because everybody gets offended by being offended by something they shouldn't be offended by. So I'm not sitting here trying to put down who they are because some of us, you know, may have a mama, aunt, uncle, or daddy or so. I'm not doing it. We're just giving the history of this thing. So if you can't be a member of a state, then they need to stop, you know, claiming to be, just as we know as nationals, because we've claimed, whoever has claimed their national status, no good and daggone well they cannot be a member of a state, a citizen, a member, a resident of a state at all. Why? Because all states are quasi-national domiciles. Fact. Not opinion. Fact. I'm a national. I don't guess I could be a citizen of a quasi-national domicile like a state because they're subject to. That's not for the national people, right? Of the land. So that's why that's quasi-national. So how can you say you are a member of that? And at the same time say you're national? The two shows some confusion, right? Right? Now, because we don't have that understanding, but here's what happens. If I say that I am, then I just gave numbers to that state or that corporation. I just added myself as being a part of that. So that's why they treat you like you're supposed to be, because you just confessed it. Same thing in the so-called courtroom. Where do you live? Oh, I live at 555 5th Street. Okay, no problem. We're not going to tell you. We just got jurisdiction. Thank you very much, and roll right over you. Now you're waking up, and it still wants to roll right over you. But you're beginning to understand that you don't really, if we were united in our information and in our being, we only have to go in there because they're not courts. They are truly actors. They are all acting with the robe and everything. Because she said it earlier. Why did we tell you to ask them for a delegation of authority? I know they don't have it. But you know what? We're law enforcers. They're supposed to. They're supposed to have it. But they don't have it. So ask them for it. So now everybody's doing that. So now what do you think is happening? They're getting up enraged. They're getting even madder because how are they going to feed their families? You got to think about this. Everyone says they're commercial, right? We said it 1,000 times, we'll say it again. If they're doing commerce, what is their merchandise? No one ever thought about that. But everybody, they're doing commerce, and so, we're dealing with the commerce gang, and, everybody went out and learned commerce law, commerce rules, Didn't learn law yet. Everybody done everything except for learn the damn law of the land. Everybody's done all of that except for that, which is the one thing that even the prophet said that enforces so you're not molested by other citizens. I was just talking with someone, we were noticing that chapter 47 actually ties you to your ancestral state and your religion and declaring your nationality and your religion. Make sure that you're not up under, and that's what ties you to Amendment 1. And to make sure that you're not up under another religion. I think, and it showed you how they're all Christian corporations or Christian entities, right? Are you a Christian? Oh, my, don't get into that, because now people have to get the understanding of why you can't be one. And until you know why you can't, that it's not somebody rebuking your religious choice, nor is it anybody, trying to join you into some other religious group, but that those are the Christian crusaders, and their intent is described in the Indicatura Divina of 1493, I think it is, or 4. And their intent is, are you ready to hear it? This is why you can't be Christian. Their intent is in the Indicatura Divina, which means divine intent. This is why you can't be a Christian. Their intent is to kill, because their God said so, all dark-skinned people that they found here who will not convert to their version of Christianity. Yeah, see what I mean? Oh, my God, that's real. That's real talk, right? It is documented. And they document. It is their intent. Do you think that's not still the intent? Oh, it's still the intent, because we went to Ellis Island this summer. It is. It never changed just because you didn't know. So this is why we can't be that. Not that. Right? So, but we got many people out here who are still working for the Crusades as the intent. And they're the ones who raise their head up when you hear all this slander bullcrap. I mean, I was just telling someone, how the hell do you slander a publication company that actually publishes words? Like, we call Destiny 6 stuff. Information that you can go verify yourself. Then you find out that the person that's doing this never hasn't verified jack. Nothing. At all. No alternative to anything. But there is no alternative to the facts of law anyway. All law is specific. So when you go and you read, when you say, like everybody tells you, yeah, what giving case law support, this is real talk. What are we going to do about it? It's real that you don't have to, and she explained it just now, have these driver's license instruments. They're not meant for you. They never were intended. They're only for those who are doing commerce. Carrying, which means carrying cargo of goods or passengers. That's it. That's all. That's a fact. That's not going to change. That's a fact. Why have you been duped into believing something else? Because that's the gateway where they rape you every day and can accost you as highwaymen on the highway and mess with you. Why? Not because they feel like it necessarily. Let's get real. Because that's how they make money, to feed their children. That's why. But you said they were doing commerce, and you're going to learn how to do commerce too with them. But you forgot that one of the reasons we allowed this treaty to even happen is so that they could, in fact, do commerce, because they couldn't do jack before they were slaves. Right? So let them do commerce. I don't mean you got to jump into that. That wasn't for you. That was for them. You're the original merchant, always Thursday. But no, we're going to jump into it. So we get into it. You're doing commerce, and you find out what you didn't ever think. You never thought it didn't have any merchandise in the first place. Oh, the merchandise is you. And how is that? Not because of a birth certificate. You didn't read the divine warnings. You didn't read the divine works to know that no man can change your descent nature, not even that piece of paper. How does that get to change you and who you are as your descent nature? Now, can't happen. You need to proclaim it, declare it yourself. So declaring it is not taking, an allodial identification card and then going and putting it into a commercial type of situation, which many people do. Yeah, well, I got my card and I'm going to go down and I'm going to authenticate my birth certificate. Are you serious? Are you really going to do that? And, we're on a horse about, what do you call it? Yeah, I think we beat the horse to death now about why you don't need to authenticate an instrument that someone else established that you believe your mother did, but she didn't, and if you thought she did, she was minor too. So it's not a contract because there's not two wet signatures on it or anything like that. It's not an agreement between anybody of anything. And so it fails in that. So therefore, what is it? That's why I'm going to bring this back around. You say you are the merchandise. You say that is the instrument. Why don't you see that as this? As someone that creates an art, an instrument, and it's a bond, because it is, that shit is what? Anybody know? Human trafficking, which is a genocide and an international crime, and you said you were a national. Oh, no, we're going to go there. We're going to try to figure out how we could, do some commerce. We're going to take this instrument that's dead, void, ab initio, right? And it's talking about a corporate fictitious person anyway. And you just said you weren't that. And that confession is from your mouth. None of that other stuff can make you that. So we're going to go and we're going to do a process, a commercial process on something. Look, man, do you get it? How ridiculous that is? That's ridiculous. That's okay, though. We just got to get there right up in here. And see, once you get that common sense, like the prophet said, if I could just get you to thinking, he said, you would free yourself. Once you get to that point, then you can effectuate it. Because it's real. But guess what? Only you can effectuate it. That's your stuff. Nobody else can do it for you. The experience is not something that can necessarily be shared. You can share with people, give them some information, but you can't have that experience for them. That's why you said you're getting back your heritage and you lost the state. But it's going to be in a conflict that you really can't express in words. So here you are trying to explain, I'm trying to explain to you what you're trying to explain to her, what you did that was good, and it didn't work for him because he's not there to. That's it, and that's all. That's all there is. You're just looking for a fix on something that won't work for you because you have to walk in the spirit of law. And if you're not walking in the spirit of it, and you're just looking for some quick fix, like, okay, it says here that, do commerce, whatever. No, that's not what this is, because it's not commerce. Your birthright has nothing to do with a commercial process. Nothing. And until you realize that, you're in trouble. Because you're going to take your birthright and try to put it into and fit into the pegs of a commerce. They don't go. They don't go. So you're going to enter into a club, association, group, anyone you want to. But go in there as a Moor, and if you choose to leave as one. Don't go there and think any of that is going to make you who you are. If you go like that, you may as well just be stagnating when you walk in the door and never come out. You just be a sweet woman for forever. Excuse me, Brother Lawrence.
Yeah, they don't even go by due process of law.
No.
They don't even go by that.
Due process, you're finding that to be true, too.
Because when you travel and everything else, they don't go by it. They just put you in a place and you have a hearing and that's it.
Because, let me tell you why. If anybody, they kidnap you. There's a minute, and it just made it real clear. The highwaymen usually are the policy enforcement police or employees, right, of a municipal corporation. Okay. So municipal means Roman. Y'all looked it up, right? All right. Municipal domicile is not a national domicile, nor is it a quasi-national, which is where the states are. What the heck is that? That's something totally different. But in the municipal domicile is where these employees and corporations rest, which are subject citizens. Corporations are subject citizens, not you. So they hire people that are police. You call policemen in the policy enforcement, the private security guards, and they are a standing army, and they literally are going out in the street and tackling people. That's it. That's all. That's what highwayman is. What does highwayman's definition by law say? It says one who goes out and accosts two. Travelers. Did it say drivers? No. Who accost travelers. Accost, meaning, to attack, to assault, right? That's what it means. So stop calling them government. Stop calling them policemen. Stop calling them what they're not. Because when you do, and you put it in the writ, you just sealed it. So that's what you already put it in. So now it also says they don't know. They think we're government, and one of our little policy enforcers, one of our little employees, government employees, have offended you. So when I told you they're acting, do you see that whole act right there? They're acting. That's why you can relate it with Hollywood, right? It's real.
They don't even come with a warrant.
They don't come with a warrant? How do you know they come to you and not with a warrant? How?
They just take you.
But how do you know that they don't? Oh, you mean they don't even show a warrant? Sometimes they show what they say is the warrant generated out of a computer. So, would you say they are law enforcement, sir?
No, they kidnapped me.
They're kidnapping.
They're supposed to take me straight to the court. They didn't go do that. They just locked me up.
You experienced it?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Well, everybody has to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
They just...
Yeah, they do what they want to do. And
they're
not held accountable. That's what we got to do is hold them accountable.
They're not held accountable.
That's right.
Because they're running bureaucratic slavery.
Right.
And we think we're free. People think they're free. Right, because they're not hanging on the tree. Well, you might be hanging on the tree tomorrow. And what did you say about, huh?
So when they take that club and put it in your yard, you let me know.
That's smart.
Well, you know, we talk. You said how to hold accountable.
Yes.
Right.
That's right.
All right. At the beginning of the class, the question was asked, what are these, right? Now, for, what is it? New York State, their municipal corporation is called New York City, one of them, right? One of them is called New York City. And then within New York City, you have Bronx, Brooklyn. Well, you call them boroughs, but they're a sub-municipal corporation of a corporation. It's like they're actually corporations. They have a headquarters, right? They usually call them like town hall or city hall, right? That's a headquarters. Like where's it? Walmart? Walmart headquarters is in Bentonville, Arkansas, right? Where's New York City's headquarters? New York City? Where's their headquarters? Where is the city hall? Where's the city hall for New York City? Is it Manhattan? But Manhattan has a city hall too, right? Right. You see the language you're using? Borough Hall. Borough Hall. That's their headquarters. That's the headquarters for the corporation. Did you mute your phone? Oh, all right. I heard an echo. All right, but borough, that is Borough Hall is the same as City Hall, right? And for the state, where's the headquarters? Right, getting it now, right? So now, these are all corporations. Some of them have signed on to the American Constitution. Some of them haven't. So we know that New York State signed on to the corporation, but New York City, y'all got evidence that they joined the Constitution, became a union? What? What can become a union? What? Because remember, New York was a colony. New York then became a state. New York, initially, actually, New York was a company. All of these are companies. And right, there are companies that may have eventually, subsequently incorporated, but they're a company. So New York is a company. New York City is a company. Brooklyn is a company. Brooklyn actually was a company of the Dutch company. All right? Dutch Bronx also was a company of the Dutch before Great Britain did a hostile takeover. That's what happened. We know this. If I say they have fleet banks, did they have fleet banks up here? Fleet banks. I think it was who brought out fleet banks? Who brought out Wachovia? Huh? No, because Chase predates fleet. No, wait a minute. Chase. No. Well, it's Wells Fargo now, but I think it was Bank of America maybe. But anyway, let's say it was Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo did a hostile takeover, and today there is no more fleet. 40, Great Britain, which is a corporation, right? Corporation, takes over and established New York and New York City. Now, if you read the history of this area, they will tell you that the Dutch, which is the Netherlands, their people were not slaves. So they have to appeal to the people and say, look, can y'all go over to the Americas and hold down our company? Not enough people volunteer. But Great Britain had a whole industry of slaves sitting in prisons doing nothing. So they said, y'all can go over to the Americas as indentured servants for X amount of years, ha, 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 or y'all can sit in these prisons and rot. So they came over, supposedly, as indentured servants. Were supposed to be indentured servants for like maybe 10, 20 years. There was never their intent to allow them to be anything but slaves. But they let them have this thinking that they're indentured servants and their freedom is on the horizon. Sound familiar? Doesn't that story sound familiar? That story sounds like the story they told us about how we could buy our freedom if we can make enough money. And you're free, and you get to be a sort of indentured servant, and your freedom is on the horizon. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? That story wasn't even our story. That was theirs. They came over July 4th. Watch July 4th. They're going to be celebrating. We came over on the Mayflower and the Santa Maria and the Bishop Jesus. July 4th, they're going to be celebrating that. Next month, there's going to be some ignorant, well, let me get home ignorant, uninformed, grossly uninformed Asiatic people talk about, yeah, we came over on the slave ship. Name them. That's not even our story. That's theirs. They celebrate that every July 4th and laugh at our people every February. We thought while we came over on boats, we can't even name. Can't find them. You can go to Baltimore and find the Santa Maria and the Mayflower. You can go down there and walk on the boat. Where is all these boats that billions of Asiatics came over on from the land they call Jamaica, the land they call Africa, which is right here? It ain't even on television. Wait a minute. The only boat I have recently heard them talk about is the Amexem. Anybody seen the boat? Has anybody seen the boat? Anybody walked on the boat? That story is probably fictitious as well. Who knows? How can you have this fantastic story of a boat that came from Great Britain or with a bunch of slaves from Africa, and there's none of the boats you can find today. Not even a nail. I was listening to Valor, Sister Valor, amazing instructor, said that they presented a piece of a boat that they alleged was one of the slave boats, a piece of plank. I don't think you're unmuted.
I know.
You're right.
I muted it from here. I thought my phone was.
You can watch. Go on YouTube and listen to Ivan Van Sertima. All right? By Ivan Van, check his lectures out. But you know, you gotta. I love Ivan Van Sertima. I wish I had been able to meet him, because listening to him when he gets into his dissertation, man, it's like the Sermon on the Mount. He makes you almost want to get up and jump, and because he's talking in such an animated way, and he's just banging you with facts, you know, and then he's got a sense of humor too. He talks about how we, more brilliant people that we were sailing all over the place. These primitive modern Europeans had damn people pulling up on oars and stuff, trying to get them off. We knew the current of the land. And he said, if you got into the right current, the current would bring you all over the land without the movement of an oar. That's all you would need to do is be, you know, maneuvering the sail. It would be like you're on a sailboat with constant wind beneath you, like a motorboat. And when he told me that, I was like, we are some brilliant people. Did we know about these currents all on planet Earth? These modern Europeans got us thinking that the only way you can move on the water is with 1,000 people pulling up on oars, right? Even in the Bible story, how was we smart people from Atlantis, and then in the Bible stories, which is years later, we become so stupid that we got people pulling up on oars. We could just jump into a current and sit back and enjoy the ride. I didn't know. I knew about the currents from Valor, but I didn't realize how strong they were until I listened to Ivan Van Sertima. Valor has a DVD called The Slavery Myth. Oh, my God. When I watched that lecture, because she's very, you know, she draws as she talks, so you can see it. Let me tell you, if you can get a copy of The Slavery Myth, get a copy of it. Because she's a brilliant mathematician as well. And so she gave this number of how many millions of slaves they brought from Africa, right? The number of ships, how many people can fit on the ship. She did the math. The slave ship, the slave, what do you call it, the slave movement, in order for them to achieve the number they said, still got to be going on today. when she did the math, I was like, we're some gullible people. Gullible. We got to get out of that gullible stage. We got to get out of these gullible stages, and we got to do the research on these corporations. Some of them did, in fact, sign on to the American Constitution. Some of them didn't. And we demonstrate to modern Europeans just how lacking in information we still are, although we're proclaimed or declared Moors, when we get a name correction and proclamation from your government, which is your family, with the government seal, and then you take it to a Walmart and say, can you please record my name correction and proclamation? If you go to a municipal corporation, which is any county, city, town, township, or borough, and you say, can you please record my name correction and proclamation? It's as if you went to Walmart and asked them to proclamation. And these people, these municipal employees, sometimes they will say no. They used to say no, we ain't doing that. And we got indignant. They don't want to record my name correction or proclamation because they know once it's on the record, yes, I got them. Once it's on the record, I got them. And they're a corporation. What are you talking about? So what they have started doing is making a demand of income from you. Or you want to put it on the record, file it, fine. Started at it 10 notes. Then it went up to 20. Then it jumped to 50. Last I heard was 93 notes per page. Y'all want to be stupid enough to not do the research and know who we are? We're going to charge you for it. Well, it's ridiculous to go to Walmart and say, can you record my name correction and proclamation? Well, if you're going to be ridiculous, meaning if you're not going to study and know who you're dealing with, well, we're going to charge you while we can. Because the name of the game for every municipal corporation is generation of revenue. Any way conceivable. They're going to generate revenue. That's their sole function because they got to get a paycheck. They don't have a product or a service. And we ain't calling them out as tax evaders because last I checked, Al Capone went to jail for having all this money and no product or service. Am I the only one that got that from the Al Capone movie? He had no product and no service, yet he had all of his income. And he couldn't say it was from liquor or prostitution. People ain't even selling liquor. But they are engaging in human trafficking. That's right, but I wouldn't go for racketeering unless you're real sharp as a pencil. Real sharp, sharp like a knife. Don't go for racketeering because that's too much. But you can get them for human trafficking. We have so much. I'm just talking about wars. Everybody on this American soil is supposed to be enforcing that American Constitution. If you go anywhere and they say, I need a birth certificate, you're supposed to ask them what security number. Why? I need a driver's license. Why would I have that membership card? How does a membership card, an insurance account number, and a property registration form prove that I am who I am? It doesn't. It proves that you belong to any one of these corporations or municipal corporations. Usually it's not even these corporations. You ain't getting no birth certificate from New York State. You got a birth certificate from New York City. New York City is a municipal corporation. Just because it says New York State at the top don't mean it's New York State. I can put New York State at the top of my document. It don't mean it's New York State. Hey, how many people have ever filed a civil case? Nobody? Okay, well, let me just tell you something. When you file a civil case, you have to put a heading on your document, just what the heading says. If in this area, it will say of New York, right? It'll say State of New York, but are you representing State of New York? No. But you have to submit your document with that at the top of the header. They're doing that. But that don't mean they're speaking on behalf of New York State. How many of us have sent brief letter to the governor of New York State asking them for any type of verifiable documentation where you gave a municipal corporation on American soil authority to speak and act on behalf of New York State, a union state? They all say, and they give you these pieces of paper, state versus law specific. Is it New York or is it something else? What exactly is it? No, I'm saying they can put on there I'm thinking this is some slickness right here. I mean, it's all slick. It's all slickness. But here's the thing. All of this, usually you see state versus Moor, right? Right? Fine. It doesn't necessarily have to mean New York, which is why it has to be defined. But the implication, right, is that they're speaking for New York State. The municipal corporation, the municipal employees. Exactly. You don't know if it's New York, if it means state building, if it means, well, no, because the state ain't a party to this. They didn't give you that piece of paper. I'm right. They can't talk, which is why you're going to ask the employee in whatever capacity they serve, whether they're the governor Well, that's correct. That's called that. That's called that. But you know what? We have been so mentally conditioned that we don't even call it that. We don't say that. Well, what does that mean? That means that. But we don't call a spade a spade. They will make up all manner of stories about you stole, you broke into, you trespassed. They use right words for wrong situations. We use wrong words for right situations. We say, I was arrested. No, you was kidnapped. Right? They said, I'm in the correctional institution. No, you're in prison. Well, you can't really say that because you can't substantiate that. But you can substantiate a correctional institution, which is really a prison. Because if you can't leave when you want to, you can't go to the refrigerator when you want to. When you go to shower or go to the bathroom, you have zero privacy. There's no wall. If you're forced into a sleeping arrangement with people you don't know, that is not an orgy. That is called prison. Exactly. And who gave a foreign municipal corporation on American soil the authority to correct anyone? That's absolutely unconstitutional. What they're saying is I got the power to regulate you. In a nutshell, I have power over you, and there's nothing you can do. There is something you can do, but it's going to take study because many of us don't even know who our attacker is. Many of us is going after union states that's not participating in this. Yeah, they might be getting a kickback, but they are not the ones putting hands on you. Who put their hands on you? Who put their hands in your pocket? Who is it? It's not the state. They might be getting a kickback. That's another story. who is violating your liberty. That's who you have to find out about. That's who you have to research, and that's who you have to, put in your complaint when your liberties have been violated, because it's about constitutional violation. So now I'm going to end with this, because I don't even know what time it is. The case law, I told you there's some case law on treaty law, right? And I'm going to make copies of this. This is on my phone. But I printed this. I just don't know what I did with it. It's somewhere in the house. This case law says totally annihilate any part of the constitutional laws of any of the individual states that is contrary to the treaty. A state cannot legislate so as to interfere with the operation of a treaty or limit or deny the privileges or immunities guaranteed by it to aliens residing in this country. That don't mean that we're the aliens, all right? But we do have a treaty. It is the declared duty of the state judges to determine any constitution or laws of any state contrary to a treaty made under the authority of the United States null and void. National or federal judges are bound by duty and oath to the same conduct. I'm going to make copies and give it to you because there was another one that I was sent that was so beautiful. Here it is. Oh, that's not it. And it talks about a name. It's that, let me see. Where is it? It talks, is this it? Nope. It talks about a name. Now, many of us, they try to impose these nom de guerres on the people all the time, right? And they try to impose these nom de guerres on the people all the time. And not that you really need a case law, because really it's a constitutional violation. That's what it is, because you have to know that you're dealing with a municipal corporation, foreign municipal corporation on American soil. The fact that they are a foreign municipal corporation means that they can never have any jurisdiction over you. Personal jurisdiction is so very important, because really personal jurisdiction is saying, are we of the same government? Now you got to understand, government means family. That's what government means. Are we of the same family? How the hell can you, a different species entirely, have jurisdiction over me? Now, you got some of our people have tripped somehow. Well, we all bleed red blood. Yeah, we all the same. If you cut me, I bleed red blood, right? Well, if I cut a dog and a cat, they bleed red blood too. But they're not the same. It's not the same. You know, we got people in our family that not only our biological, our family on a whole, track out. Think, we all the same. No, we're not. That's why we got problems when we follow their diet. If we was the same, we should be strong and healthy. We should be the giants that we use, because we adopted their diet. We shrunk. All right, this case law, the ignorance of the name must be averred, or the judgment will be void, for the person served is not obliged to answer to a wrong name without such averment. That's hot, right? You know where else that applies? Any bill that comes to your house that's not grammatically correct. That's right. That's right. No, you're not. You're not. But this is why, but here's the other thing. Who is it that's sending you these demands for income? Are they a flesh and blood being, or are they a corporation? I thought I had the word corporation up here. They're a corporation, right? Now, where are they getting their supply from? For example, the gas or electric company, where are they getting their supply from? Did they come here with that on their back? How are they selling you something that comes out of the earth freely? And don't tell me, well, you know, my machine took it out. Did you come over here with the resources to make the machines on your back? Because the last I checked, your modern Europeans came over here out of the prisons of Great Britain with just the clothes on your back. How are we paying you for the resources of our land? They got people paying for everything that they're not supposed to be paying for because we just are lacking information. We're grossly lacking information. And you know what? Unless we change our information and do the same for our children, this is going to continue. Literature. And that wow.
We got to get back to the microphone. You know, it's funny. We got all this stuff to just flow, and then we were downstairs for a while. Now we're back here. Now we got to readjust again. Thanks for reminding me. So you've come here much. So you just reminded me. Has anybody been here for the first time and that type of question? All right, sit tight. You're going to be handed out a giveaway. But I need to make this announcement for the National Theater here. Dr. Barbara Ann Pierce National Black Theater. Did y'all know that she's the one who established, that a woman established this? Y'all did know that. That's great, right? Anyway, they present the workshop production of Manhood. Okay, written by Dennis A. Allen II, directed by Russell G. Jones. It's between February the 8th and 12th. And one of those is a matinee. The Saturday is a tour. Well, the whole thing is between Wednesday and Saturday at 7:30. However, on Saturday there's a matinee at 2, and on Sunday there is one at 4. I assume that's the last day. So I guess you can grab these downstairs as you go. It sounds kind of intriguing. I myself may come and check this one out. As it says, I'll just read this little part right here, just intrigue some of you if you're interested in coming to this and or traveling from wherever you are who's listening far. You might want to come. Silas Manning is the epitome of a man's man, a fitness guru, some of Hollywood's biggest stars. His wife, Ebony, is a world-renowned plastic surgeon. And his friend and Overdose manager, Virgil, is dedicated to keeping the money flowing in. A visit from a strange woman in a mask and a tragic event forces Silence and Ebony to confront what it means to be a man in a world that values and celebrates manhood. So, the tickets are 20 notes, which is a bed, special rates available for groups, students, seniors, and veterans. Get your tickets today, and for those who will write this down or repeat this recording, call 212-722-3800. 212-722-3800, or visit www.nationalblacktheater.org. February 8th through the 12th. All right? Now, with that, I need somebody to hand out the giveaway. Do you mind? Yes. Do you mind coming up here, please? Appreciate it. First of all, welcome. Everybody give their hand to all those who are here for the first time. And listen, we're here. The fourth is Abdullah Bey with etymology, and that will be next Wednesday. He'll be here. Got it? Oh, that's your boy. All right, come see him. Let's be back here next week on Wednesday. So every Wednesday is something. I know sometimes I forget to update the site to go by it, but I try to go there just that. It's what I just said. That's what it is. Our speakers, making weekly, second, Thursday, I eat myself, and then they're here. Fourth weekend, doing an effort, that's all. And that's it. If we don't have to keep it on the year, then we'll do it. Every 4 Wednesdays is back in line now. So we're here only me and we're here the second and the third. Carew is on the first. And she's wonderful with the information regarding spirit of herbs and natural. I don't know what she has. Oh, it's beautiful. Even if she states on the last one, her belief in the sincerity is there. That I've already got. That's why I avoid sleep. And that's the thing about us. If we start healing, certain like say when I taking the nettles in oat straw, it's to get rid of inside mucus or whatever. So naturally you're gonna start coughing that up or whatever until it's there. So no. I got what to get from her. You may have to go to a place, but no, actually, she does have some things. She said she's gonna have some stuff. So why don't you just gotta check it out, right? Certainly. And if you can't call it, second and third video. For the dad, who's gonna do the invocation now? My brother Lawrence. So I mean, we're so used to being here every Wednesday. We'll just see next week and just see it through. And then we'll be back in the second thing. Hey, you know what, Lawrence? I was going to ask you, but I didn't think you wanted to answer when you said that happened to you. How does that make you feel when they just are him?
I think if you make it right there, you get to think that you can go in my head like it don't mean.
Well, listen, here's the mic. Are you going to do this? Okay, where you going? Where you going? I know because we've been in that smaller place for so long, and you need glasses on you? That farsighted? Farther back. No. All right, we're just checking now. You might have to get some. It's okay if you need glasses. Hey, that's about age, man.
Hold it down.
Hold it down. Oh, looking. All right. Yes. All right.
We got to make the money.
We can use those fiat, for those mediums of exchange for something, so, right? That's what you say. All right. Father of the universe. Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation. By night and by day. Peace and love. Islam. Right.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed.